I'm Mary Swander. I'm the current Poet Laureate of Iowa. Oh, I've had a long history with Iowa City. I first came here when I was in kindergarten, and we lived in western Iowa, and my mother brought us over here, and at that time they had university schools, which is really a neat place. They shut that down, I don't know, in the 70s or something. And so we came here for summer school in university schools, and I loved Iowa City. I was like 5, I think, and I've loved Iowa City since then. This can't be true. in my memoirs especially. And I've had some really unique and different experiences in life, and almost all my books are autobiographical, except for the last one, The Girls on the Roof. So I always point that out, that has nothing to do with me at all. And but I think that question really started with Out of This World, which was my first memoir. And I ended up having a fairly strange medical problem that cast me apart from the rest of the world, because I became real sensitive to chemicals and had to eat all organic food. Before that was a cool thing to do. Nobody ever heard of it when in 1983 when that started. So I was the kook and the weirdo, and the only organic food I could find was with the Amish, and so I started going down and getting food from the Amish, and then eventually found a place to live down there. And so that, it's like it's a completely different culture. It's going to another country. Down there they speak a different language, have a completely different point of view, and so it's hard for a mainstream audience to try to figure out what in the world is this woman doing. And then in the Desert Pilgrim, I ended up in New Mexico, and working with some Hispanic healers who were some of the most interesting spiritual people I've ever met, but quite eccentric from, again, the mainstream point of view. So people think I'm making it up. But the book I really made up, The Girls on the Roof, people think that's true. So there you are. That's how it works. Oh, I do. That's really why I have my place down in Cologne. It was an old one-room Amish schoolhouse, and it still has all the vibes of a school. There were 28 students stuffed in there. It's like 650 square feet, but it's so there's the quietness, the silence of it being emptied out, and I just love that. You can still feel the presence of all those students who are now my neighbors in the neighborhood. They're all grown up, but you feel them, that they have exited and launched their lives. And I love looking out the window there. It's on top of a little hill, and watching the seasons change, and that's where I do my writing, most of it. Oh, I lived in Chicago for a while. And and it really told me, I finally found, I'd sit there and I think, I don't have anything to write about, and it told me that my experience that I, used for my writing material was in a different landscape. That's all. And I think I know a lot of people come here from Chicago and say, well, I don't have anything to write about here. And so it's what imprints upon you, when you're small, I think. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of passions, and I love going to my place and doing my writing there. And I'm a big gardener, so I love growing my own food. And I grow about 90% of my own food, and meat and poultry and vegetables, and that really renews me. I like the whole process of the cycles of nature and the renewal process of that, and the, starting with seedlings in the winter and that hopefulness, and then seeing it through the summer, no matter what the summer brings, and it has brought me droughts and floods and fires and tornadoes and winds, and you just have to move through those phenomena and see what you have on the other end. I'm actually working on a play right now about immigrant farmers, and I've written about a lot of different ethnicity groups, but never the recent immigrant experience. And so I'm excited to capture that, and it's allowed me to, enter a different world again. I've been working with Hmongs and Latinos and Sudanese refugees, and do some really interesting research about the historical political situations that they all were fleeing. And so it's brought a different political sense to my work, and I've been wanting to do that for a while. Oh yeah, writing's a real creative process, of course, and that's where I find, the core of spirituality, and that you're making something that wasn't there before, and you're looking beyond yourself. You can write in your own little room, but all writers eventually want to connect with the larger world and something that's on a grander scale than their own little mind or soul. And so I think writing is one of those things that is one of the best things that we can do with our lives. I remember once when I was in the workshop, I was studying with Mark Strand, and he said, "What have I done with my life? I'm just writing these little things on scraps of paper." It was very ironic, but you can look at it that way, in that little reductive way. Of course, that's what we're doing. We're just putting little words on paper, but in a bigger world, we're trying to capture universal emotions and ideas and thoughts. Well, it seems like everybody's a writer these days. You get on an airplane and everybody said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to write a book." A writer's really the person that actually does it, and endures all those rejection slips and all those discouragements and all those different obstacles. The writer's life is not gravy. It's you have to really be a survivor. And so I think, there are a lot of people out there that want to be writers. There was a study done I read about 5 years ago, and it asked people, if you had as much money as you wanted, what would you do with your life differently? And 75% of the respondents said, I would engage in the arts. So that creative impulse is there for many, many people, but it's the people that actually, as I tell my students, put their butt in the chair and do it and produce the thing that end up the writers.